I personally, he doesn't do this, but I personally call him the rising star in the K County GOP.
Well,
And I'd like to turn the floor over to Brian.
Don't trip, a gun might fall off of you.
All right. Well, okay. He gave. I don't know if I know all you guys or not. Probably quite a few of you. So, I'm kind of dovetail on JJ here a little bit. We're in some serious times right now. I'd like to come in and butter things up and tell everybody how wonderful things are, but the truth of the matter is this is really probably the worst situation I've seen in my lifetime. As a kid, I never, and I talked about this at the Republican meeting a couple of days ago. And as a kid, I never thought I'd see things that are happening today. And we're here for OK2A, and because we're all obviously everybody in this room understands that the Second Amendment is really the First Amendment because it's the amendment by which all others are defended. And to break it down is we're looking at some serious times. I think it's very important right now that people are networking because, we've gotten way too comfortable, in my opinion, with this social media atmosphere, this computerized stuff. I'm going to date myself by talking about when I was a kid, we had phones that had giant cords that we could stretch across the house. And but they worked, and you knew everybody's number either by heart, memory. You had them written down right beside the phone. I would suggest that we probably need to start getting back to that, and I'm not doing anything to handicap OK2A here, but I'm thinking about starting a separate entity that's a pro-Second Amendment organization to where we can. I would like to have a giant, database that we can all print off and have everybody's number by county, by location, by city, whatever that may be. Because as a mayor, there's a very, in today's climate, it's not unrealistic to think that there might be a time where I may need to call some of you guys. I mean, we may need that help. We don't have enough law enforcement. JJ, you know this. My dad's a retired cop. I was a cop my whole life. We just don't have enough boots on the ground. It's just that simple. Even with the National Guard, we don't have enough boots on the ground. It's just that simple. This is why we had the ability to have a well-regulated militia, the whole existence of the Second Amendment. People are going to come through, burn businesses, burn your neighbor's business, burn your neighbor's house, your friends, your family. It's unacceptable. And it's going to continue until somebody stands up and puts a stop to it. This limp-wristed approach that our government has taken in this matter is disgusting. People groveling over themselves, apologizing for things they had nothing to do with hundreds of years ago is unacceptable. I didn't do it. Most of us walk around, and this doesn't just go, I'm white, I'm Indian, I've got friends that are black, friends that are Hispanic, friends that are white, friends that are family that are Native. We just didn't grow up worrying about what color somebody was. It never crossed our mind. Do you treat me decent? Sure. Okay. Well, that's a measure of character. The idea that everybody needs to be, held accountable for this, and again, that our elected officials are capitulating to this idea, just, in my opinion, magnifies the problem. And it feeds the fire. That, in my opinion, needs to stop. I want to cover, too, because I think it's relevant to the Second Amendment, First Amendment. They all tie together. It's all a liberty issue. Like I said, we're here for the second, but, that's because it defends all the others. When this COVID pandemic came out, I was asked, as a mayor, what are we going to do? And, I had written, and I won't torture the guys who were at the Republican meeting the other day with reading my open letter again, but, the gist of it is this. A lot of men better than myself. I'm a vet. Dad's a vet. Both of my grandpas, both of my wife's grandpas. All four of them were in World War II. Dad was a NOM. My brother was 101st. I was 3rd Cav. A lot of better men than me gave their lives so that we could operate freely. A lot of men were a hell of a lot more scared charging beaches and tank positions and on, sailing the seas, going down in battleships, then a damn pandemic. I'm sorry, I'm just going to tell it like it is. Then whether or not, and if you want to wear a mask, I'm not bashing anybody. That's what you feel you need to do, that's fine. But the idea that they're going to shut down private businesses that they have no constitutional authority to do is appalling to me. And it's repugnant to the idea of freedom. It's repugnant to the idea of a free society. And if we lay down for this, if people don't start standing up and using our voices, the problem is with us, as conservatives, we just go along, we get along. We don't want to stir anything up. And that's why we've been taken advantage of for so long. And it's not just whether it's just our nature, whether we were taught that way, is to be kind, to not create a problem if there isn't one. But it's kind of like being a soldier. I'm not gonna go out and start a fight, but I'm gonna be there to finish it. And we need to start taking, in my opinion, that approach as a society. Enough is enough. There's nothing shameful about standing up for your beliefs, and there's damn sure nothing shameful about standing up for the Constitution of the United States of America. That many men and women, millions, gave their lives in numerous theaters throughout history, so that we can sit here freely today and do this. But for how much longer? And again, I'm not trying to convince people that the government's going to line people up in the streets and execute. It's not what I'm trying to tell you. What I'm saying is that our freedoms have eroded year after year, and then it's like JJ pointed out, they never go in reverse. They just keep ticking forward. They just keep taking a little more and a little more. We keep allowing it. We did have a great victory in Oklahoma, constitutional carry. Some good friends of mine were able to pass that legislation, and I couldn't be more proud. Governors got to sign that into law this year, or was it last year? And that was a great move. I mean, that was a great victory for us. And a lot of people may not understand this, but constitutional carry was never constitutional in Oklahoma from its inception. I didn't realize this at first. I thought, well, what idiot allowed this to happen? Well, it was just never. It was that way from the time the state was founded. Whoever wrote the founding documents of the state thought, in their wisdom, that we shouldn't have a Second Amendment. I mean, it's mind-boggling. So we're fighting generations of worth of causes, and we're doing it. I got to tell you guys, hold your heads high. We're doing a pretty damn good job. I mean, when you get something as big as constitutional carry passed at 100 years after we were statehood, that's a pretty big deal. I mean, so we did get that back, but the thing that the liberals do, they hedge their bets. They're going to ask for 20 times more than what they expect to get, and we got to start doing the same thing. I want fully automatic machine guns. Why? Because that's what the Second Amendment allows. Because every weapon that was designed at the inception of this country was a weapon of war. And if all I can have is a pea shooter, when my own government has M60s, saws, AT4s, HE grenades, howitzers, the whole point of having the Second Amendment was in case they get out of control, that we would have a means in which to rein that back in. That's right. And this idea that we bow before government, it is foreign to me, but obviously not foreign to a lot of people. And that idea is something we as a group, as a society, need to start changing. We need to start saying, no, hold on, guys, why was this written? And if we don't have those conversations, I assure you the liberals aren't going to do it for us. So those are just some things that I'd like to throw at you. Don't be ashamed. Stand up for yourself. And thank God we have the constitutional carry and the stand your ground law in Oklahoma. And I may get Terry to cover that. But if you feel like your life's in danger, you can use lethal force. And this is not a problem for conservatives, for the same reasons that we've been quiet for so long. We don't go out picking fights. But if you come at me, you come at my family, you come at my friends, I'm going to do what's necessary. And I will take no joy in that, but I will do what's necessary. And we have to have that mindset. Defend yourself. Stand your ground. Our voices are just as important as everybody else's. But if we don't put them out there, then they're the only ones that are going to get hurt. And I know that's tough in today's climate with the media, which is obviously stacked against us. You know, not to bring up the sore thumb of that rally, but it was fun watching Trump go, "These guys are terrible."
Because they are.
Awesome. I got a lot of, and look, off topic, but I look back there and I actually took a little video clip of the media back there, and they're all just packed up in here, you know, and I mean, you've got 100 guys on this little platform, you know, there's no social distancing whatsoever, right? And but of course, the pundit at the news station's telling you that, you know, look at these bad Trump people that are not social distancing when their own people are not doing it either. It's pretty remarkable. But anyway, well, does anybody have anything they want to say? Or I guess we've got comments.
If you could just hold any comments or questions, we'll take as long as we need to at the end of the meeting. That way we can get the meeting out of the way, and then we can talk all we want.
And
I
if,
appreciate it.
Yeah, and if anybody has anything, suggestions for me, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I do the best that I can. So and there's always room for improvement. So if anybody ever has any suggestions for me on how I can do, I mean, I know most of you guys aren't from Newkirk, but it doesn't matter. I mean, the way I look at it is, you know, we're a family, and you know, and I'm willing to take suggestions from anybody. Bottom line. So, having said that, thanks for your time, and God bless.